Hello guys, this is Sarah speaking and I'm recording this video to show you another Android app I made for the Google Developer Challenge Scholarship on Android Basics. This app was intended to be our project one for us students attending the course, and one of the requirements of the app was that the project needed to be called Hello Android App. So just to clarify things, if you say Hello Android App and I'm saying Udacity Info App, we are talking about the same thing. So let's start from how my app looks actually like. And you can see it here. Basically it has 3 cards that we are going to see more in details later on. And each of these 3 cards contains some text, some image, a button, and the information that were mentioned in the requirements. But let's start the presentation properly. So this is my agenda of today. We will be covering the context of the app with the specification of the requirements. I will be presenting you how I designed and code the layout, some peculiarities on cards layout because this time is really worth, and then my color palette and fonts as usual. We will be finishing this presentation with some takeaways, something that maybe you won't reuse, and then the usual references, and make sure you check this out because also these are good resources if you want to learn a little bit or to expand your knowledge or whatever, or just look for inspiration maybe. And then as usual my contacts. So let's start with the context. This was our first project, our official first project, and it was included in lesson 5. So these are the project requirements, and as you will see, they will cover the design of the app and the code, but they were like pretty easy. You needed to include a view group, which is basically a relative layout or a linear layout or whatever containing other views inside, and you needed to include some image views, some text views, and also some basic information about Udacity, for example a business name, address and phone number. So this is how I designed the app on the basis of these requirements. And as you can see, I was thinking from the beginning about using the more than one card on the same screen. And for doing this, I took the inspiration from our lecture about linear layout, and also the weight attribute, the weight XML attribute that you will be using for giving the elements the same weight on the screen. Okay, this was my first thought about the app. Then this is what it finally looked like. So as you can see, I changed a bit my own design specification to go for a circle image rather than a square one, and then to change some text on the cards, and also to reorder them a little bit. What I would like to underline here is that the most important part of this layout were the cards, of course, that needed to be 3, and also the link here. So this was a point I really felt like I don't want to drop it, because I discovered that I wasn't able to do it just with using XML tag. But then I went further, putting a button there and going a little bit further on the lectures, because I felt like this is needed in the design, because the entire design is not going to have any sense if I drop the buttons there. So let's see how I realized that. This is a further details on the layout. So as you can see, I decided to view card views. I decided to use card views again, and now we have 3. I decided to give them equal weight on the screen inside a linear layout, and then I included them on a scroll view to allow the user to scroll, and then I kept the action bar here on the top. These are further details on the card layout. As you can see here, this is meant to be the explanation for card view 1 and card view 2. And you only see we have some text, which is the title and the text body, then the circle image view, which speaks for itself, and the button, as I was mentioning before. Then on the card view 3, I needed to make some extension on this layout, because as you can see here, I have also some icons here on the left. So I needed to custom this in the layout, and this is what I've done. I replicate this image view plus text view 3 times, and we will be seeing also which XML attributes I included for making everything nicely aligned on the left side of the card. And then again, the circle image view and the button, as usual. For what regards my color palette, I currently chose more bluish color palette because I wanted to recall the design of Udacity website, which is like on light blue tones and also on purple and violet ones. So you can see I recalled this purple and violet here in the color accent and in the color text primary. Then we have something worth mentioning about the color background, which is EF, EF, EF. Pretty straightforward to memorize. And this is actually mandatory from, or kind of mandatory from the material design guidelines, because it is actually what allows you to have this nice effect here, material effect here, when you include the cards with the shadow behind. So your background needs to be not purely white, because the cards are purely white, but a very light gray, which is defined by this code. For what regards the fonts, I included 2, but I ended up using just one, which is News Cycle. I included also Anton because I would have liked to use it in the titles, but then I dropped it because I felt the effect was enough just with only News Cycle. The takeaways of my project now, we are almost at the end of this presentation, are of course the card views horizontal layout, which I'm pretty proud of. It took me a while to figure out how to do that, and the version you find in the source code is the one that works, at least for me, but I think also for you. So you need for sure to include a linear layout and to give equal weights to the card, but then it was not really clear to me how to include it in the main layout. And okay, it took some time, but I finally worked it out. Then we have the buttons, and probably it's worth to see that in the code. It's pretty straightforward. I needed to use Java in the main activity Java file that you find here under your package, and for obtaining the effect of opening the browser when user clicks, I included just these simple methods with the hard-coded URLs of the resources I would like to refer when user clicks. So I defined these 3 methods for each and every card, and then I defined this one, which is the generic one, parsing the URL. And then what I've done is on each and every card, on the button, I specified the action that needs to be performed when user clicks with this Android onClick XML tag, and this is the name of the Java method performing the task. So I needed to do a little bit of investigation about that, but it was really easy to sort it out. And then another thing took me some time. Oh, okay, I'm just skipping one. This is the circle image view effect you can see here. And at the beginning I wanted just to have the round corners around my square images. But then when I tried this library, this external library, I was pretty happy about the results, so I just kept them. It is an external library, and again, and make sure you check the references for this, because in the references you will have the link to the GitHub project of this guy, and it's really convenient if you need to achieve the profile picture effect or design, for example. And then another part I'm pretty proud of is icons alignment in the third card view, because it was not really straightforward neither. And these are the XML attributes that I included at the end, and these are the one that allowed me to have everything aligned almost perfectly on the left side of my layout. Okay, so these are the references you can check out by yourself here as well, and these are my contacts, so feel free to pop in whenever you feel. If you have whatever question or you want some explanation on my projects, it's okay. Just drop an email, or I mean, you have not email here, but drop a message on LinkedIn or on Slack on Udacity. Thank you for your attention and have a nice evening.